First at 4, it's the stuff of traffic nightmares. All lanes completely shut down. 75 southbound at Windy Hill. Delays are extensive, but I've got 4 separate alternates for you.
Here less than 24 hours after a mother and her baby were shot at this home in Lithonia. I'm Joe Ripley with an update on their condition and the search for the shooter.
Plus, the return of rain and colder temperatures for our midweek. I'll time it out.
The Atlanta Fire Department is now asking if code enforcement changes could help fight future fires after a massive fire the chief calls a complete anomaly burned through these apartments.
11 Alive News at 4 p.m. starts now.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to 11 Alive News at 4 o'clock. I'm Faith Jesse.
And I'm Jonathan Martin. First here at 4 o'clock, trouble on the roadway. We're going to get right to Atlanta traffic expert Crash Clark. Crash, I know you're keeping a close eye on a red alert right here on I-75 that has it pretty much shut down.
Yeah, Jonathan, look at this Sky Tracker right above the scene here. This one tractor trailer overturned, another one jackknife just left the scene, but the damage is done. This is along I-75 southbound right at Windy Hill. Let's get you to the maps because I want to get you around this thing. I've got 4 separate alternates. Now, hang on. Here's where we sit. 75 southbound right at Windy Hill Road. As you can imagine, the delays are extensive. Now, Highway 41 Cobb Parkway, that's going to be your initial alternate, but trust me, you want nothing to do with it. It's already bumper to bumper. Do yourself a favor. Try Powers Ferry. That's going to get you around it as well. And if you're really desperate, you could try South Cobb Drive or even Atlanta Road. Now, remember, this is going to have extensive backups, not just on 75 South, but 75 North and all the adjacent surface streets as folks try to scramble for an alternate. GDOT telling us this may not be cleared till 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to be here with you watching this, but this is going to be quite the nightmare. Jonathan?
It really is. Crash, thank you so much. Right now we have some new details. Less than 24 hours after someone shot a mother and her baby in DeKalb County, police are continuing to search for the person who pulled the trigger. This happened around 9:30 last night on Wild Ginger Road in Lithonia. Police believe an argument might have led up to the shooting, and the mother and baby were accidentally caught in the crossfire. 11 Alive's Joe Ripley updates us on the victim's conditions and the search for the shooter.
New surveillance video obtained by 11 Alive shows the response to this DeKalb County neighborhood on Wild Ginger Run. Neighbors called police and first responders around 9:30 Monday night when they heard several shots across the street.
Looks like it was probably a disagreement between the young men that live in this house and another group of young men.
DeKalb Police Sergeant Lynn Schuler says a mother and her 7-month-old baby who was sleeping were both inside the home when shots were fired and were both grazed by the gunfire. Police say they do not think the mother and child were the intended targets. A family member tells me both victims are still in the hospital. She said the mother was shot in the shoulder and the baby was shot in the head and shoulder. Both are expected to be okay. You can still see the impact from the 5 shots police believe were fired into the home.
Nonsense. Lack of morality.
Neighbors say there have been other police calls here, but as of now, police have not shared that info with us. Neighbors call this an otherwise peaceful neighborhood. Tonight, DeKalb County Police say they are still on the hunt for the shooting suspect. As we learn more, we will get that info to you on air and on 11alive.com. In DeKalb County, Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
Also here at 4 o'clock, we have some new developments in the 2020 Georgia election interference case. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office is now requesting emergency protections. This is all coming after video interviews with defendants who took plea deals were leaked to the media. We will have much more on these new developments, including the videos here in question, coming up later tonight.
All right, time to bring in the final piece of our team here at 4 o'clock. Somebody that you might want to hear from. Meteorologist Melissa Nord is here. So, Melissa, this weather has been a little all over the place, but we did see some rain, and I'm hearing we might be getting some more soon.
It's coming back, and it arrives tomorrow, already by tomorrow morning for some of us. So we've had a little break for a couple days. Now the rain moving back in. Let me show you where that rain is right now on the map. Still a couple hundred miles away from us, but you can see there's been shower activity over the last day along the Gulf Coast. Little area of low pressure is going to push that moisture northward into our area. So by tomorrow morning, we start to see some rain moving in. So let's time this out for you. You can see Those arrows on the map, that's a breeze from the east-northeast, which will keep us cooler throughout the day tomorrow. But by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, some scattered showers, areas of drizzle starting to move in. And it's not a washout all day tomorrow for a lot of us, but it's just this on and off nuisance, lighter rain that will be on the map, and we'll be tracking that on radar for you tomorrow. This evening, falling back from the 60s into the 50s, we'll talk about that out-the-door forecast for tomorrow morning and who has the highest chance of seeing rain for tomorrow coming up in just a bit.
All right, we're getting those umbrellas ready. Melissa, thank you so much. Well, hundreds remain without a home tonight after a massive fire sparked on Friday night.
And today, the Atlanta Fire Department is still there on the scene 4 days later. And 11 Alive's Molly Oak is also back live outside the Reserve at La Vista Walk Apartments in Atlanta. So, Molly, what's the latest here?
Well, as we continue to talk with the fire department and ask them more questions about what happens next, I just got off the phone with fire. It says it has tentatively cleared the scene tonight, which means it can start moving forward with its investigation. But I want you to take a look at this video. When we talked with the chief last night, he called this fire a complete anomaly, and I'm going to explain why. He says this because it started from the roof down. The systems in place likely didn't detect the fire until later. He says code enforcement is looking into what can be done to modify the code and see if changes can be made for future construction. Now, Atlanta's fire chief says more than 80 firefighters were on scene when the initial call came out on Friday. He says right now the fire marshal and other agencies are carrying out a three-pronged investigation. And he says even though that response was in 6 minutes, he says it was an immediate evacuation mode by the time they got here, and then says after that it was all just on the defense.
Yeah, Molly, still so many questions about what happened. Do we have any idea on when we might get that initial investigation report that perhaps will tell us what happened, or at least more of what happened?
So, Jonathan, there's three things we're really looking for right now. The 911 calls, the inspection report for this apartment complex, and then also that incident report. The one good thing about firefighters tentatively leaving the scene now is once they leave the scene, the fire department has 24 hours to input that incident report, which means we could be getting that report either tonight or sometime tomorrow. The fire department tells me that once that incident report is in, they'll give it to us, and that should shed a lot more light about what initially happened here late Friday night.
Yeah, we know you'll be staying on the story. Molly, thanks so much. And as she just mentioned, those residents are still struggling to get back on their feet. Coming up tonight at 5 o'clock, we'll share how you can give a helping hand.
And right now, we are trying to learn more about an overnight fire that damaged a historic Civil War-era home in Stone Mountain Park. It happened at what was formerly called the Dickey House. The building was first built in the 1840s. It was originally located on a plantation near Albany before being dismantled and rebuilt in Stone Mountain in 1961. Officials say the fire began on the upper floors of the building, but it's still unclear as to what started it. All right, now we want to talk about this. The holidays are coming up, and in the season of giving, one group held a special event to support Atlanta's youth. Take a look here. The Stephen Marjorie Harvey Foundation hosted a celebrity toy drive at Topgolf. That was in Atlanta last night. The event featured big names in sports and entertainment and supports the foundation's scholarship fund. They also collected hundreds of toys for underserved kids in communities here in Metro Atlanta. I actually caught up with actress and media personality, former 11 Alive family, Rashawn Ali, who says when it comes to supporting youth, it's all about taking action.
You have to ask yourself, what can I do to make a difference? And every little bit goes a long way, and I think that's very important. So when you see something, do something.
And you can find out more about this, the organization, more information on the organization. You can even donate. You can head to theharveyfoundation.org. Another person who was there last night is our very own Jonathan Martin.
Well, I was there. Thanks to you. You invited me, and it was really great to see so many big-name folks in Atlanta giving back. The Harveys have been, they're not from Atlanta, but they've been around Atlanta for a long time and have done so much for our community, so it's great to see.
And a lot of people yesterday, I kept asking them, this is about the youth. What should we be doing for the youth? And they said it's about action.
Yeah.
Little small things you can do every single day.
Absolutely.
All right, coming up here, thousands gathering today to march for Israel. We are live in Washington with more on this rally and what organizers hope will come from this massive show of support.
And it's going to be a major red alert for Cobb County. 75 southbound at Windy Hill completely shut down. We've got alternates for you, but this is a far-reaching wreck. Welcome back to 11 Alive News at 4. The traffic alert will continue for most of the evening with 75 southbound at Windy Hill completely shut down. Folks are scrambling for alternates as far over as South Cobb Drive, Atlanta Road, Cobb Parkway, and even Powers Ferry. Folks, this one's going to be here for a while. 75 southbound. As we're looking right now, though, look at this. They are dragging this tractor trailer off to the side of the road. This is amazing what they're doing. We may be making some progress here, folks. We're going to keep up on this one. Faith?
All right, Crash, thank you so much. Well, all new at 4, March in our nation's capital is wrapping up. Thousands of people from across the country gathered today to show their support for Israel, which is now in its second month of the war against Hamas. Joining us now live from the National Mall is Alice Barr. Alice, I know it's loud out there. I'm going to do my best to keep this simple for you. We are now more than a month into the Israel-Hamas war after Hamas terrorists killed 1,400 people, took more than 200 hostages. What is the feeling out there today?
Yeah, Faith, you're right. It is very loud. We'll do our best here. Really, it's a very strong feeling of solidarity. We've been speaking to a lot of the people in the crowd. There are tens of thousands of people here, and they've all said very clearly they were moved to come here, many coming from out of state, with the message that never again means now, that they are seeing a rising tide of anti-Semitism, something like a 400% increase, according to the Anti-Defamation League, from this time last year in incidents of anti-Semitism. And they very clearly wanted to come together here on the National Mall and send the message of solidarity for Israel, for the Jewish people here in America, and against anti-Semitism. Faith.
Alice, if you can hear me once again, I know it's loud out there, but I do want to ask this. Prior to today's march, we've seen demonstrations across the country in support of the people of Palestine. Were there any supporters there today? And is there any message from the speakers about the Palestinian civilians who have been caught in the crossfire in Gaza?
I spoke to people about that as well in the crowd, about maybe even potentially fears of backlash against the Jewish people here in this country as we continue to see the devastating, the dire humanitarian crisis in Gaza, that could sadly even increase anti-Semitism here in this country. The people I spoke to are worried about that, but they also are very clear that they say that there is no moral equivalence between what Israel is doing, what the Israeli military is doing, and what happened in the October 7th attack when Hamas brutally attacked innocent Israelis in that case, and that's what began this. And they're very firm that this fight needs to continue to wipe out Hamas so that Israel can be safe. Now, that is not to say that people here do not feel for the Palestinian people and just the horrific images that we have seen coming out of Gaza. Those I've spoken to have said they are praying for people on both sides, and that, of course, they want peace. They believe, in order to get to peace, that Israel needs to be safe within its borders, and they believe that means taking on Hamas hard and head on. Back to you.
Alice Barr in Washington, a lot of pain still today. Thank you so much for bringing us that.
Cloudy skies here, cloud cover building in, and we've been tracking this next chance of rain for a few days now. Still not here quite yet. We've got some showers right along the Gulf Coast, and a little area of low pressure is going to help to push that rain northward. But how much rain we see and how kind of wet of a day it is tomorrow is really going to vary widely. We think that the highest rain chances, where we're going to see the most rain on the map tomorrow, is closest to the Gulf Coast, so down in central Georgia. So rain chances on the map here from Covington to Peachtree City, 70% or higher. When you get into the northern side of the metro, those rain chances about 50%. North Georgia mountains and northwest Georgia, where the drought is most significant, that's where we think the rainfall chance will be about a 30% chance at best. So there might be a little patchy drizzle, but everything that's coming in, like we saw over the weekend, this is light. This is not heavy rain, not thunderstorm activity. In fact, with a breeze from the northeast, which will be gusty again tomorrow, we're going to be significantly cooler than where we have been today. So next few hours for us, staying mostly cloudy, dry all the way through that sunset this evening and beyond. You notice here at 10 o'clock, still dry on the map, but as we get closer to midnight and beyond, a couple of showers start to move in. We do think that rain will become a little better coverage first thing tomorrow morning. See here, we're starting off in the 50s. Rain showers most prominent south of I-20, then up to the north. But as we head into the afternoon, those temperatures with the clouds, that northeast breeze, and the rain showers on the map, we just don't have an opportunity for them to warm up. So a cloudy, cooler, breezy day with on and off rain showers there on your Wednesday. As we push this forecast track out into Thursday, once again, few showers mainly south of I-20, and all that rain shower activity will start to pull out of here, I think, for Thursday night, and we'll bring in another rain chance to round out the work week. Outside right now, mostly cloudy. We had a bit of sunshine earlier that helped to spike our temperatures up to the upper 60s. Currently 69 in Atlanta. Douglasville is 70, 67 in Lithonia, and 67 in Lawrenceville. So overnight tonight, rain showers start to move in from the south after midnight. We'll drop down to the upper 40s and low 50s, and then a breeze throughout the day tomorrow with on and off rain showers likely. So they'll be scattered in nature, not widespread, but with that cloud cover, the breeze, and the on and off rain, you're going to need a bigger coat tomorrow. Temperatures will not be having much of a climb in the afternoon. We're going to keep things in the mid 50s as opposed to near 70 where we are today. Keeping a 30% rain chance Thursday and Friday. Cold front coming in here Friday into Saturday morning will bring a few showers with it, but behind it, look at your weekend, drying things out, bringing back some sunshine by Saturday afternoon, a high of 65, 64 with a lot of sunshine on Sunday before more rain moves in early next week.
All right, Melissa, appreciate that. 418. Boy, they have made amazing progress. Look at this. This was an overturned tractor trailer, 75 southbound, right at Windy Hill. They had all lanes completely blocked. GDOT saying they wouldn't get this clear till 8 o'clock tonight. They just dragged this thing off to the side of the road, didn't even put it back up on its wheels, but still, it's shut down and traffic is bumper to bumper all the way back to 575. You've got Cobb Parkway. You've got Powers Ferry. Powers Ferry is a great alternate for 75, and so few people use it. South Cobb Drive or Atlanta Road's also going to help you, but I'm hoping to get some lanes open here on 75 real quick. Jonathan?
Yeah, let's hope so. Crash, thank you. New tonight, Georgia is paving the path for more students to get into college. Jennifer Bellamy is here with a look at some of the stories coming up at 5.
Yeah, Jonathan, we know the higher education process is already expensive, but Georgia high school seniors could have their college application fees waived this month thanks to a new announcement today from the Student Finance Commission. What you need to know about the waivers and how they can help your student. Plus, caught on camera, this video captured right outside of a Metro Atlanta police station shows a driver doing donuts there and being dealt some instant karma. We'll tell you about it. And the CDC is warning about an invasive species of tick spotted right here in Georgia. We're going to talk about whether you need to take any steps to protect your health and your family. That is all coming up new and next at 5.
All right, well, new video tonight is giving us a look at the intense moments after an emergency landing in Texas. Wow, look at that. That was a bizarre sight over the weekend, a really scary one in the suburb of Dallas. A pilot of the small plane you see right there making an emergency landing was unable to stop at the end of the runway. It then went through a fence and collided into a car driving by. The pilot says it was his first time landing at this airport. He says the aircraft's reverse thrust, which slows the plane down, wasn't working. Here is the crazy part. The driver of that car had minor injuries.
Thank goodness.
Somebody was looking out for them.
Yeah, because you think about that could have just been so much worse with an explosion or something like that.
Yeah.
And luckily it was a small plane, had a little less momentum, a little less mass with it. But yeah, you got to be thankful that it was just one car and not a busy highway and not an overpass that it could have fallen off of there.
Right, when I first saw this video, I saw the plane coming in. In fact, the guy that was filming it noticed the plane was coming in a little bit too hot and figured he was going to go through the fence. And then all of a sudden, here comes a car. 35 years of traffic reporting. I don't think I've ever reported one like that.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank goodness everyone's all right.
That's the main part.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, we're keeping a close eye on Capitol Hill as the U.S. House is expected to vote on a plan to try and avoid a government shutdown.
Plus, legendary late-night talk show host David Letterman wants you to own a big piece of TV history. You're watching 11 Alive News at 4.
Welcome back to 11 Alive News at 4 o'clock. Atlanta's own Andre 3000 is dropping his first solo album later this week, and it will stand out for what it will and won't have. Now, 3 Stacks, as he's known to many people, he's known as being one half of Outkast, alongside, of course, Big Boy. But the 48-year-old singer and rapper won't be singing or rapping. Instead, on this album, New Blue Sun, we will only hear Andre 3000 playing various flutes. He says he's been interested in wind instruments for a while now and calls the project a natural progression, and a lot of folks looking forward to that. Well, you know, first it was Taylor Swift. Now Queen Bee is getting a beat reporter. USA Today has hired a journalist to serve as the Beyonce reporter. They will work out of the Tennessean in Nashville. Stories will include Beyonce's business and entertainment empire, as well as her fan base known as the Beehive, and her influence on fashion, music, and culture. Well, you now have a chance to own a piece of television history if you have the money and the space for it. David Letterman offering you a chance to own the original marquee sign from his Late Show. Letterman hosted the late night program from the Ed Sullivan Theater on New York's famous Broadway from 1993 up until 2015. Letterman has now started a sweepstakes through the end of the year for the marquee. So all you have to do is donate $10, and the money will benefit Habitat for Humanity, an organization Letterman has supported since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And at least the money is going to something good. You know, at least it's not just him collecting the money for himself.
I want it. I'm a huge
really?
Letterman fan. I tried out for his Stupid Human Tricks.
Really?
When I lived down in Miami, they did a roaming Stupid Human Tricks, and I was in full scuba gear, jumped off a 10-foot table into a glass of water.
See, I'm learning something about you every day.
Wait, run it back. Wait a second.
Yeah, didn't quite make it to the finals and get on the show, but I tried out for it. That was, so I love Letterman.
So that's where you got your name, Crash.
Probably, it's where it started.
There you go, I love it.
All right, 75 southbound, still a nightmare ride trying to make your way out of Marietta. As a matter of fact, they're making progress. 75 south, we've got almost all of this off to the side. Will we get the lanes open? That's the big question.
And it's a good thing we don't have any rain to throw on top of that mess on 75, but by tomorrow morning, we will. I'm tracking our next chance of showers moving back into North Georgia. I'll have your forecast next on 11 Alive News at 4.